Was it the Iron Golem stepping out? Or did the Enderman cheat? In the server, a creature called the Ender Golem suddenly appeared. On the surface, they didn't inherit the instinct to protect villagers. In reality, that protective loyalty was shifted entirely to the Enderman. His power can only be described as terrifying. Players in full diamond gear are one-shotted instantly. Even a full-health Iron Golem can't withstand a single hit. No one knows the upper limit of his abilities. He can teleport from a desert to a snowy tundra in an instant. By contrast, Endermen can only travel 32 blocks at most, and only pick up a single block. But an Ender Golem can swipe an entire chunk in the blink of an eye. Just like that, the villagers' lovely homes are gone, relocated entirely to the end. However, as powerful as the Ender Golem is, he has a fatal weakness. Just like the Enderman, he is terrified of water. Besides that, he needs to feed to survive, and his only food source is Iron Golems. With the Ender Golem's speed, the Iron Golem stands no chance of dodging. In no time, he devours the Iron Golem's remains. Without the Iron Golem's protection, the villagers are defenseless. They're sitting ducks for pillager invasions. Suddenly, villages across the server became a living hell. In fact, the Ender Golem's appearance was no accident. Ultimately, it's all the players' fault. They exploited glitches in the game mechanics. Hiding in 2-block high spaces, they realized they could kill Endermen without taking damage. What's worse, after players got Ender Pearls, they combined them with Blaze Powder to make Eyes of Ender, activating the End Portal to enter the dimension. There, they slaughtered Endermen endlessly, euphemistically calling it an XP farm. It was absolutely heartless. Over time, one Enderman began to think of a way out. It wasn't until he saw an Iron Golem protecting villagers in the overworld that a bold idea was born in his mind. Could they create a guardian of their own? He tried summoning one like the villagers do. Dirt got no reaction. Then stone, then obsidian. He tried 1,000 ways, but nothing worked. Finally, he found crying obsidian near a ruined portal. After placing the blocks, the whole world began to shake violently. All the Endermen panicked. Only he stood before the statue, waiting for a miracle. Moments later, the first Ender Golem in history was born. The fate of the Enderman was rewritten forever. The Ender Golem obeyed the Endermen completely. They no longer had to fear players. For the Ender Golem, killing a player was as easy as crushing an ant. From then on, no player dared to set foot in the end. The Enderman showed the Ender Golem the destroyed End City, but honestly, they brought this on themselves. To survive, Endermen often traveled to different dimensions and quietly took resources. Although it wasn't much, in the eyes of the players, they were just damn thieves. So, players launched a brutal revenge campaign in the end. They looted resources to build so-called end biomes in the overworld. This caused the Enderman civilization to stagnate, leaving many Endermen homeless. Now, the task of rebuilding the End City fell to the Ender Golem. With his powerful teleportation and carrying abilities, he brought player structures back to the end, using existing materials. In no time, a magnificent End City rose from the ground. It's hard to believe this was the work of a single Ender Golem. At this moment, the Enderman's ambition was ignited. They went to the overworld like they were striking gold, gathering crying obsidian to summon more Ender Golems, intending to strengthen their entire race and the End itself. So, they had the Ender Golem ceaselessly plunder resources from the overworld. The villagers and overworld creatures suffered immensely. Overnight, the villagers' homes vanished into thin air. The villagers were forced to seek refuge underground. Chunks of the overworld disappeared before their eyes, replaced by a booming, prosperous scene in the end. The End City was bright and bustling with life. Overworld soil was visible everywhere. The Endermen had thoroughly dominated the world, and the Ender Dragon grew stronger, with their support. As time passed, the number of Ender Golems surged. This made the Endermen even more rampant. Their ambition flooded like a broken dam. They naively thought they were the gods of this world. They weren't even satisfied with the desolate end biomes anymore. Endermen continued summoning massive amounts of Ender Golems, planning to hollow out the entire overworld, until every last block was moved to the end. Although it was a massive task, it wasn't impossible. Then they would build a brand new continent. Soon, many parts of the overworld were stripped down to bedrock. Creatures either starved or fell to their deaths from great heights. Meanwhile, the very first Ender Golem summoned felt lost. Teleporting to the overworld, he saw only endless pain and fire. Was this really the reason for their creation? Ender Golems were meant to protect Endermen, but now they brought an apocalypse to the world. However, no one noticed. A pair of eyes watching everything. It was the creator god, Herobrine. Legend says he appears when the world faces great upheaval. It seems he had no choice but to intervene. Herobrine had to eliminate the threat before the Ender Golems caused more destruction. So, on this day, he unleashed his divine power. Instantly, storm clouds gathered over the End, followed by a torrential downpour. It was the first time it had ever rained in the End. The Endermen scattered in panic, but the Ender Golem stood still. They knew the rain covered the entire End. Luckily, some Endermen hid inside buildings. As the Ender Golems, exposed to the rain, began to fall, they used their last moments to lift the chunks beneath them into the sky, providing shelter for the Endermen. This was the ultimate irony. The Ender Golems remained true to their mission, protecting the Endermen who were lost in greed and desire. Soon, all the Ender Golems dissolved in the rain. Only the original Ender Golem remained. The rain could no longer hurt him. The others died from their fear of water, but he had no fear left in his heart. He teleported back to where he was born. Recalling that moment, he felt a sense of mockery and absurdity. Perhaps his existence was a mistake all along. Suddenly, bolts of lightning pierced his body. When the gloom lifted, the light of dawn bathed the land. Where the Ender Golem stood, only a massive crater remained. The clouds over the End slowly vanished. The surviving Endermen emerged from the city. When they reached the overworld, they found only a statue of the Ender Golem in the crater. he realized that true strength isn't about dominating everything, but choosing to let go and end it all, after realizing the danger of one's own power. After some time, the overworld regained a superficial balance, but deep scars remained, just like the terrain that could never be fully restored. Since then, many players have tried to resurrect the Ender Golem, but all have failed. Yet some still believe they never truly died, but are waiting in some corner of the world for the day of their rebirth.